Good evening, welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story, a Labour councillor suspended over membership of a controversial WhatsApp group says the party ignored his concerns about the group.
I haven't thrown the Labour Party under the bus, they've thrown me under the bus.
This is the first time one of the suspended councillors has spoken out. Also tonight, nuclear waste. Cumbrians have their say over the plans to bury spent fuel off the county's coast. Ready to roll, we go behind the scenes at Blackpool's Pleasure Beach as it prepares to reopen. It's goodbye to North West Tonight's Mr Sport, Richard Askam, after a quarter of a century in front of the camera.
And it certainly has been another cold day, but Posty Dave saw a few glimmers of blue sky in Buxton. We're going to see any more at the weekend? Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
A Labour councillor suspended over his membership of an offensive WhatsApp group in Tameside has told the BBC that the party has thrown him under the bus. Vincent Ritchie said he complained 2 years ago about the offensive content of the WhatsApp messages, but no one took any action. Earlier, a newspaper revealed allegedly racist, sexist and anti-Semitic comments made by a number of party members. That led to the suspension of two MPs, Andrew Gwynn and Burnley's MP Oliver Ryan, along with a number of councillors. Well, I spoke to Vincent Ritchie today, the first of the suspended members, to talk to the media.
It is one for a good example, Andrew Gwynn, or maybe we just want young, active people to take on the roles instead of fat, middle-aged, useless thickets like question mark.
And who is that person he's talking about?
I believe it's a resident or a party activist from Stockport.
One of the WhatsApp messages on his phone from the notorious group Trigger Me Timbers. Councillor Vincent Ritchie still has them, even though he was removed from the group. He claims he spoke to the MP Andrew Gwynn about the messages 3 years ago.
The group was going down a path what it wasn't there for, and I didn't get any response off him. But then on the 7th of April 2022, we was removed from the group by the administrator, Claire Reid.
So you believe you were taken off the group because
I was taken off the group
spoke about
because we spoke about it. That's my belief.
He also claims his colleague Jed Cooney told the Labour Party about the WhatsApp group, but nothing was done. Councillor Cooney was suspended yesterday. Why do you think that nobody in the Labour Party listened to you and Councillor Cooney when you came forward with these WhatsApp messages?
I don't know, you'd have to ask them. The only thing I can think is it was too damaging, so they wanted to try and hide it. That's the only thing I can think. I haven't a clue.
Councillor Ritchie also showed me abusive messages that he's received since his suspension. He's been called scum and corrupt. What effect has this all had on you personally?
People out there are tarnishing me with the same brush as the people who have made them homophobic, racist, disgusting, and I don't want no party of it. No party of it. And I'm so annoyed and frustrated at the Labour Party because they won't listen to me, because I told them I've got no input whatsoever, and their response is, well, that's okay then, you'll be completely exonerated, which I will 100% be completely exonerated, but it's the damage from me being suspended to when they get around to exonerating me that I'm not happy about. How
do you feel that you've been treated by the Labour Party?
I feel I've been treated absolutely disgraceful. 49 years service. You know, what did he want us to do? Not take it to Labour Party headquarters, not speak to anybody, not out them and let it all carry on. Let it all carry on. It's disgraceful. I haven't thrown the Labour Party under the bus, they've thrown me under the bus.
Well, a Labour Party spokesperson told us that as soon as this group was brought to our attention, a thorough investigation was launched and swift action will always be taken where individuals are found to have breached the high standards expected of Labour Party members. We have also tried to contact the MP Andrew Gwynn for comment. Now, most of this country's nuclear waste is stored temporarily at the Sellafield plant in Cumbria, but with a new push for nuclear power as part of the government's green energy strategy, a permanent solution needs to be found. 2 sites in Cumbria have been identified as possible locations, and people living in the area have been invited to have their say. Here's our environment correspondent, Judy Hobson.
Nuclear energy generates about 15% of the UK's electricity, but that is due to increase. The process produces highly radioactive waste, and most of it ends up here in Sellafield. But Sellafield is filling up, and the race is on to find somewhere new to keep it. Experts say the safest option is to bury it deep underground in a network of undersea tunnels. The question is, where? There are 3 options. 2 potential areas are in Cumbria, including at Seascale near Sellafield.
We're gradually narrowing down the search areas that we've identified and starting to look at more specific locations in those search areas. And that really allows us then to spend money wisely on the next stage of site investigation and actually get to the point where we can say, you know, the geology in this area is suitable, and events like this help us to answer the other question, which is the community willing to host the facility?
Having the community on board is key, and the public is being consulted.
It's been really interesting because I had a lot of questions, and there's been some really interesting people to talk to about the geology, about the engineering and about the plans. So they've outlined the timelines that are involved, and it's all going to happen past my lifetime, I think.
What it has done is it's obviously brought it to the fore in the sense that rather than just being a vague notion that potentially a nuclear waste dump might come to, you know, either mid-Copeland or South Copeland. In this case, Nuclear Waste Services have identified what they call areas of focus, which will be the primary parts of each of those locations where they'll be carrying out further investigations around geology and land ownership.
Once the geological disposal is complete, we will backfill, seal and close the facility.
The earliest that any waste could be buried is estimated to be in the 2050s. Until then, it will continue to be stored in Sellafield. Judy Hobson, BBC North West Tonight.
3 men have been convicted of murdering a 36-year-old man on Merseyside last year. Ricky Berry died from a gunshot wound to the chest after he was targeted outside his house in Kirby. Michael Smith, Adam Williams and Connor Walsh were found guilty of murder and possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life. The trust, which runs the Countess of Chester Hospital, is facing a multi-million-pound bill after being successfully sued by its former chief executive. An employment tribunal has ruled that Dr Susan Gilby was unfairly dismissed after the former chair of the trust had conspired with others to remove her from her job after she accused him of bullying and harassment.
The past few years have been at times like torture. It's been extraordinarily isolating and exhausting. Every single point was judged in our favour based on the evidence. So it was a huge swell of emotion initially, primarily of relief, but then tinged with sadness that none of this needed to happen.
Strikes planned by Avanti West Coast train managers over the next 3 Sundays have been suspended to allow negotiations in a long-running dispute over rest day working. Members of the RMT union have already taken industrial action and were due to walk out again, but now say they'll suspend the action to allow for constructive talks. Blackpool Pleasure Beach is one of the UK's most loved tourist attractions, but all those ups and downs and twists and turns take their toll on those famous rides. As it prepares to open for its 129th season, Anna Jameson has been to meet with the staff working hard behind the scenes to get things ready.
Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It's one of the oldest and most exciting amusement parks in Europe. Millions of visitors come each year, and that takes a huge amount of maintenance.
The winter for us is actually the busiest period of the year, but I don't think people know how much work goes into just keeping the park running. But it's really important to us that we keep our park looking as fresh as possible and as safe as possible for all of our guests.
Each year, hundreds of staff take on the painstaking work of unbolting, repairing and cleaning all the rides and attractions. Behind me is Steeplechase, the 48-year-old horse racing ride. All the chassis are being stripped down, the wheels are being serviced, the new bearings are being put back on, ready for people to enjoy. It looks like the Big One carriage is on the hospital bed.
It sort of is, yes.
Having a bit of an MOT.
Correct. I mean, the Big One's been part of our skyline at Blackpool since 1994, and it really is a ride of legends. And, you know, we have to give it a lot of TLC, and it's really lovely when we see the trains in here, them looking pristine, sharp and bright. But we can't wait to get them back on the ride and hear the rides going round again, ready for our guests.
Its heritage means it's home to some of the finest craftsmanship in often forgotten trades. Fiberglass remodelling, retuning the organ key by key, or carefully hand-painting the signs.
When you're doing stuff like that, you just go into like sort of your own little space and you just shut down and you just concentrate on what you're doing. It's like you think about fishing or whatever.
Quite therapeutic.
Yeah, you sort of autopilot. So I've done it all my life, it's all I've ever done. So it's like a apprentice in the 70s.
And some, like Laura, are only just getting started.
I've always loved engineering as a kid, and I love roller coasters, and combine the passion, because why not?
What do your mates say when you tell them what you do?
Well, when I first told them what I planned to do, they all just kind of looked at me like, what are you doing with your life? But everyone sort of looks at you like, wow, that is a very cool job.
Guests don't necessarily know the work that goes into everything we do, and neither should they. They should just see when they come into the Pleasure Beach, they see something they recognise and would have no idea the journey it's been on from the previous season.
Nickelodeon Land at the Pleasure Beach reopens tomorrow. Anna Jameson, BBC North West Tonight in Blackpool.
Brilliant stuff. Right, I can't believe I'm saying this, but for the very last time, Richard is here with the sport.
Yes, relief around the region, Annabelle.
We're going to talk to you later about that, but we have to do the sport. Super League, we're going to talk about in a minute, but first to cricket, lots of glamour, lots of finance coming to the 100.
Yeah, for oil magnates, sheikhs, cash-rich consortiums. Only a major football club has never been more attractive, has it, Annabelle? But it seems it's coming to English cricket as well. Manchester Originals, who play the shortest form of the game, the 100, have been bought into by an Indian Premier League team after Lancashire agreed a deal with Lucknow super giants. Phil Cunliffe has this report.
Fans of the IPL will know Lucknow Super Giants, a T20 cricket team with grand ambitions. Having expanded into South Africa cricket and other sports, owners RPSG have paid around £80 million at auction in return for a 70% stake in Manchester Originals.
When you look at Manchester, it is a global sporting hub. It is one of the top 5 sporting cities across the world. I think what we want to do is what we've done with all our other franchises, is create a spirit of winning and create a spirit of resilience. And I think that is very important in the game of sport and in the game of cricket.
This is a transformational moment for not just Lancashire Cricket Club, but for the whole of cricket. The Lucknow guys, the RPSG people are fantastic. And we found a meeting of the minds quite early on, and we're really excited about what we can achieve together.
Lancashire still hold a 30% stake in Manchester Originals, albeit they're no longer the majority shareholder. They'll get £25 million from the big pot of cash to help pay off debts and for other projects.
Well, I think everybody knows about our brilliant facility in Farrington that's being built at the moment with support from Lancashire County Council. We've also got a cricket centre here that needs a little bit of love, and I think so definitely we'll be looking to kind of invest in some world-class training facilities.
Disappointing years for Manchester and Lancashire, but you know, having money invested and players coming over both with the women and the men's side. So
cricket's governing body in this country, the ECB, says over the past 4 years the 100-ball format has helped boost younger audiences and participation levels. Yet it's still disliked by many county cricket traditionalists.
This is so big now. When you look at nearly £1 billion invested in this tournament's not going anywhere. There's no reason why this can't live alongside county cricket. This gives us an opportunity to invest back into county.
Big changes in cricket, aren't there? Lee Leopards came out on top in the opening game in Super League after first ever 0-0 draw in the competition's 29-year history. What a win for the Leopards. Our 3 other Super League sides are still waiting to get their campaigns underway, with St Helens and Salford Red Devils meeting at the Totally Wicked Stadium tomorrow. And last season's Challenge Cup finalists Warrington Wolves travelling to Huddersfield Giants on Sunday. Could this be the season that Warrington Wolves win that elusive Super League title? And after making the Challenge Cup final last season and the semi-finals of Super League, many pundits are expecting the Wolves to kick on again.
We're confident in where we're standing. How can we really get to a deeper level, you know, and go that one step further, because we weren't so far away.
I'm superhuman. I'm supernova.
For Salford Red Devils, keeping their talented squad intact has been a success in itself. Problems with ownership, finance and their stadium put the club's Super League future in doubt. But with a takeover now completed, the club can start looking forwards once again. And after a fantastic 4th place finish last time out, confidence remains high ahead of their opening fixture against St Helens.
When you walk into that stadium and you get surrounded by the group of boys and the staff, and the trust and camaraderie, the relationships that we've built over time now, it's just a happy place to be.
By their own extremely high standards, St Helens failed to deliver last season, with the added pain of watching their old rivals Wigan deliver trophy after trophy.
Yeah, horrible. Not nice at all. Didn't enjoy one bit of it. Something that we want to chase down and go after this year. And obviously we're going to have to be miles better than we were last year, but within we believe we can do it.
I'm confident that we've learned some valuable lessons, and there's been a real good energy and a real buzz around the place as we approach the start of the 2025 season.
Saints welcome Salford to the Totally Wicked Stadium in that opening fixture tomorrow evening. Best of luck to all of our teams this season. In football, Everton, Liverpool and Reds boss Arne Slot have been charged by the FA following the melee after the end of Wednesday's Merseyside derby. Slot admitted that emotions got the better of him at the final whistle when he was shown a red card after approaching the referee here following the final whistle. Everton's 98th minute equaliser meant it finished 2-2 at Goodison, with a player from each side also sent off. And that's how it ended. Sunday's Premier League match against Wolves at Anfield will be next up for Liverpool. Everton travel to Crystal Palace tomorrow, with Manchester United and Spurs on Sunday. As for Manchester City, the injury problems keep mounting up for the champions, with defender Manuel Akanji expected to be out for up to 10 weeks. The Switzerland international needs surgery on a thigh injury. City welcome Newcastle to the Etihad Stadium tomorrow. They're not having much luck, Annabelle, with injuries, are they, City?
They're not. Do you know, I think that was the best sports bulletin that you have ever done.
It was certainly
you
my
have
last.
left the best till last.
I don't think so, but
I hope the emotions don't get the better of you at the last whistle. Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll talk to you in a bit, Richard.
All right.
But for now, the latest in our 25 in 25 series. We asked you to tell us the places and the people that make the North West a great place to live, and Kay, who'll be with us for the weather in a minute, has picked 25 of them to feature throughout 2025. A couple of weeks ago, we were in a beautiful park in Greater Manchester. Tonight, she's with a wonderful man in Darwin and a story of courage and selflessness.
Unfortunately, I was diagnosed with cancer summer 2021, and went through treatment, had surgery. My cancer is now palliative, so I can no longer be head teacher. So you're getting the hats.
He might not be their head teacher anymore, but Dan, or rather Mr. T to these children, continues to play a huge part in their lives.
He's very kind and compassionate, and even though he's struggling, he didn't just think of himself, and he thought of others going through the same thing as him, and he's now helping them.
Me just seeing him happy, he just makes everybody happy.
He's funny, kind, brave, because he's pushed himself through cancer.
The children, along with the rest of the school and wider community, help raise donations for the Cancer Bank.
We're an organisation that we're a not-for-profit organisation. We're set up to get products donated by the public or money, and we buy products that people need, things that you have to buy for yourself when you're on a cancer journey, that you don't know about until you're going through that journey, and it costs a lot. I wanted to ease the financial burden for people and provide some of these products in a similar way that a food bank does, hence why it's called the Cancer Bank.
Family and friends help collect the donated products and pack the bags ready for hospital drops. A bag which, to Elaine, was overwhelming.
I cried. I don't normally cry. In fact, I'm not somebody that cries, but cancer does change you. It changes you a lot, because I think it brings it home to you. Just what your life means, and even little things like hats and moisturiser and lip salves, which seem really tiny to people, but it's not. It's somebody else thinking about you.
I've got a brilliant set of family and friends that supported me all the way through this, and I'm lucky enough that I've got a mindset to sort of put aside the stuff that's a little bit frightening, frame it in a way that says, actually, I'm very grateful for today, and let's go and try and find the gold in the mud. Let's try and be positive. Me helping other people makes me feel good, and that can only be good for me in my condition at the minute.
Kay's here with the weather now. They're not just lovely places to go. You're getting such amazing stories with
Lovely
these, aren't
people
you? Yeah.
doing lovely things. And people are sending me all sorts. It was actually Dan's mum, Anne, who originally messaged to tell me about Dan. So thank you. It was simply amazing, and the kids at the school were just lovely. And thank you for your suggestions. And you can still send those suggestions in if you want to. nwt@bbc.co.uk if you would like to suggest a place or a person. Now then, to the weather, which, let's face it, it's cold. Though, like we said yesterday, today we'd start the day with some spells of sunshine. And Buddy, well, we saw some blue skies in Altrincham. Thanks for sending that photograph in. Jake the dog in Oldham, you can just make him out in the corner enjoying those tiny glimmers of sunshine. Sadly, not so many on offer as we head into the weekend. So if you want to join me on socials, you can send in your weather pictures. Let me know what it's like where you are. And for some of us, certainly through tomorrow, it's not going to be too pleasant. We are looking at some rain, some sleet, some snow for some, and some freezing rain as well. Not for all, and we're not quite in a warning area, but more on that in a moment. What's going on? It's Atlantic airs trying to push in. So that's bringing slightly milder air. It's bumping into the cold air we've had, and where the two doth meet, that's where it's producing some outbreaks of rain, sleet and snow, and that freezing rain as well. So patchy outbreaks as we head through this evening. A lot of us will be dry, but it's during the second half of the night we start to get some outbreaks of rain over any elevation. That will be falling as some sleet and snow and freezing rain for parts too. Not quite as cold as it was last night though. Temperatures give or take 3 degrees, still a fairly keen easterly breeze. Now you can see where the warning area is. So for Pennine routes, if you are travelling over there early doors, then roads will be quite treacherous. The bulk of the rain will clear through, but for Merseyside and parts of Cheshire, we will see more rain and freezing rain arriving through tomorrow afternoon. Cold once again, a blanket of cloud, temperatures between about 4 and 6 degrees, but the breeze will be a little bit lighter. Now, as we then head into next week, we start to lose high pressure in the east, low pressure systems start to sweep in, Atlantic air starts to arrive. Now, that means a couple of things. Temperatures will be on the rise, but with it, look at the isobars. They are becoming more tightly squeezed. So towards the end of next week, it will get a little bit milder, but it'll get wet and windy as well. And that's your forecast.
Come and join us.
Oh,
hello,
look who we're with for the last time.
I can't believe it.
It is really quite emotional, isn't it? We're going to talk to you in a moment. But first of all, we want to show you and everybody else a little video of your highs and your lows.
Plenty of lows.
2 miles behind me, where later that day British troops were due to come ashore.
Over a quarter of a century, Richard Askam's become a North West TV institution. Here he is meeting Tyson Fury.
OK, nice to see you.
You're doing nearly as tall as me.
Yeah, well, I've got your gloves over here for your sparring, so...
I can't think why, but I might just give that a miss.
A young Andrew Flintoff was also grilled.
Has your life changed even more than you thought it might be?
Yeah, it's changed a bit, probably just from recognition and media interest.
Bolton boxer Amir Khan was interviewed on a driving lesson.
There's the extra problem of being spotted by your fans.
It was a bit distracting, yeah. You see him on the corner of your eye, waving at you and stuff.
Rich also proved himself a thrill seeker.
The driver of this beast, Pip, assures me he's not going to exceed the speed limit.
Now, don't be fooled. I'm only pretending to be scared.
He's reported from many, many major sporting events.
Richard Askam was at the Millennium Stadium. Here's his report.
So it's St Helens, not Wigan, who get their hands on the silverware. This really is such a special moment for women's football in England.
So City win the day after a tense final here at Wembley.
Miles have been covered walking the region's stadium's touchlines. Once he reluctantly joined Warrington Wolves in a cryotherapy chamber.
Well, maybe there is.
Don't listen to him. That is horrible.
Less horrible were countless overseas trips.
And we'll hear more from Ricky as the tension and anticipation builds.
If you look for hotel rooms, you can find them in Moscow on the day before the final.
The intensity of the atmosphere in the city has been growing throughout the day as more and more fans congregate.
3 years ago, he helped see off Oldham Rugby League legend Kevin Sinfield on his ultramarathons challenge for MND.
Off you go!
While this report at Manchester City highlighted the potential downside of leaving early.
I know you're very disappointed.
Very disappointed we won.
No, it's disallowed.
Was it?
Yeah. Seriously, just seeing it, it's disallowed.
I can't put it into words, it's just unbelievable.
It's been an unbelievable 25 years.
From Egbeth, back to you.
Wow.
The hair!
I know, the hair. You know, after
No.
that cryotherapy one as well,
Yeah.
our boss said there will be no more nipples on Northwest tonight. So that was my fault.
Image.
Good advice. Good advice. And I think we've stuck to it, haven't we?
I think we have.
What was your highlight?
Do you know what? I'm following Ricky Hatton to Las Vegas 3 times. Hello, Rick, if you're watching. I can do anything now.
Yeah.
Amir Khan to New York as well. He's in Dubai, so he won't be watching. And that first Champions League final, I was in with the fans of Liverpool. That was incredible. But do you know what? Meeting the people of the Northwest, amazing. Thank you to everybody who sent messages,
Well, I
by
have
the
to
way.
say, lots of people have sent in messages during the programme as well, all saying that they're going to miss you, miss your little cheeky glint in your eye. We're going to miss you.
I'm going to miss you. I really am. We're a family, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to miss you.
Last word to you, then.
For the last time, I can't believe I'm saying it, good night and have a lovely weekend. Thank you.